So I plan on doing a couple videos in regards to the New World governments of Argentina and the United States and the similarities of the constitutions of these two countries. Actually, what's funny is I found this by looking at which countries had legalized prostitution in Latin America. And what was funny is, of course, Argentina, it's not extremely legal, but however, what one does behind closed doors is to be judged by God and not the magistrates, according to Article 19 of their constitution, which led me to read the constitution in depth. Obviously, being a pervert, my mind goes where it wants to go when I'm doing research. So, long story short, there are many similarities which I consider a New World phenomenon. But what makes Argentina and the United States so uniquely alike is the fact that both countries are made up predominantly of European descendants of European immigrants. Now, I do see the United States as far more conservatively oriented, at least originally. Unfortunately, the culture has gone hard left due to some of the groups we've been bringing into the countries, predominantly the Yiddish-speaking Jews from Eastern Europe and the Italian communists from Italy at the turn of the 19th to 20th century. But for example, the 1790 Immigration Act restricted immigration into the United States to white people that had resided in the United States for 2 years minimum. Now, what's important to understand is a lot of people now, of course, now that I embrace the concepts of the cosmic race and Pan-Americanism, I do not agree with such things. However, back when I was a white nationalist, what is tempting to do, and this is what I see with a lot of Argentines that I used to socialize with on Facebook, it's tempting to embrace Anglophilia and to forget the fact that the United States is a New World country. And what I see with a lot of Argentines is they like to embrace this affiliation with Spain, forgetting that Argentina is not Spain. It's of Spain and of Italy and of Germany and of the indigenous people of that region, but it is not technically of Spain, just as the United States is of Germany, of England, of France, of what have you, and it is not technically of England. Although what you see with a lot of skinhead groups in the United States is a tendency to embrace Anglo-Saxon or German National Socialist culture to the point where it becomes a distraction to the fact that what we have in this new world, what we have with our political systems, with our constitutions, is what we need. We don't need to be distracting ourselves with things like National Socialism. And we need to remember that National Socialism embraced a lot of the concepts of progressivism and other things that were created in the United States and in the New World. In fact, Hitler, and I believe this was nothing more than an attempt to bring about more numbers. Hitler declared all Native Americans to be honorary Aryans, okay? Which obviously Native Americans are not Aryan, but that is what he determined because, in my opinion, it was a last-ditch effort to build numbers, because in Mein Kampf he compares Native Americans and Slavs to one another and believes that the German destiny, the German manifest destiny, was to conquer the East and put the Slavs into concentration camp type settings or reservation type settings. And of course he found out you can't do that. And also it's easy to forget that Hitler was not the sole proprietor of racial realism in National Socialist Germany. I have many beefs with the racial concepts in Nazi Germany. I think they're very wrong and very short-sighted, and they went all over the place. Whereas in the United States, our concepts of race were pretty much cut and dry up until the 1960s civil rights movement, or I should say civil rights debacle.